going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Ask Nick edition of the Viall Files. It sounds so nice. Now I have it all figured out. Joined by Allie and Amanda. Ladies, how are you? What's new? Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Because if you're listening to this and it comes out, it's Valentine's Day.
You seem like someone who had an era where they were like, this is just a corporate holiday for companies to make money, like a Valentine's cynic era.
I'm a guy, so.
So yes. Do you think all men have some cynicism surrounding Valentine's Day?
No, I don't have any cynicism. I don't like, it's not Christmas, you know? It's not a birthday.
It's love Christmas.
It's a fine day for those people who aren't especially good at taking the time day in and day out to make their partners feel loved. Like, here's a nice reminder.
I love Valentine's Day, and I've never been in a relationship on Valentine's Day. Because it's just so, like, I was in New York one Valentine's Day, and everyone was in such a great mood. I flew to Iowa when my sister was in med school, and I took her to a steakhouse.
There you go.
You know, like, I think it's a nice day to, like, prioritize the people in your life.
I love that. I hope the people listening will
come join me. We can do Valentine's Day together.
I'm indifferent about it.
It is sort of like built-in initiative. Because I think my ex, our anniversary was like the 15th, you know, because like we had a conversation very late, you know, wee hours of the morning. And I feel like there's a lot of people who have February 14th anniversaries as a result of Valentine's Day.
Uncreative people.
How many children do you think were conceived on Valentine's Day?
Plenty, I'm sure. Yeah, what would they make them?
My mother's birthday is literally November 14th.
Yeah.
So,
totally.
Grandma and Grandpa.
Probably plenty. Do you, we are recording this before Valentine's Day. Do you two have plans for Valentine's Day?
I feel like maybe I'll order some Taco Bell.
Okay.
I love Taco Bell.
I really appreciate your ability to enjoy the day that many people would use as a day to feel bad
I
about
love
themselves.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah. No, we
Treat
know.
yourself.
It's great.
Put creamer in your coffee.
Amanda's unsure.
No,
you can hang out with me.
I just have some like sad life updates right now that I'm not going to provide.
Okay.
But
so I don't know what I'm going to do for Valentine's Day. So it's unclear.
Well, maybe you and Allie can
come get some Taco Bell.
No, I don't. I feel like Taco Bell will wreck my.
I
Do you
love
think you'll
Taco
be
Bell.
alone?
Well, I was.
She's not going to be alone.
Okay,
I would intervene before she's alone.
I'd been.
I guess not. Like.
No, I had considered that when I was like, I feel like I'm in a tricky position here in terms of how to proceed with Valentine's Day, who to spend it with. And then I thought about just like spending it by myself. And that's maybe what I'll do. I am trying to date myself this year. So
You did say that.
I'll be my Valentine Day too.
That'd be a really great way to like check in with that New Year's resolution. Just gonna do it by.
We can make a cheese.
It's on a Monday, anyways.
Oh yeah, we'll spend all day together.
Yeah, we will spend a good chunk of our day together.
Someone want to bring donuts?
Well, I hope you're having a Valentine's Day with whoever you're with. If it's alone, if it's with someone else, enjoy this day.
Nick, are you doing anything with Natalie?
Natalie wanted to do dinner on Thursday prior to, because the Super Bowl. We're gonna have a long weekend. It's the Super Bowl being in LA, and I think we suspect that we will just make dinner and relax on Valentine's Day. Anyway, happy Valentine's Day. And for those of you still struggling with your love life, we got you covered. Don't forget to send in your questions at asknick@castmedia.com. Cast with a K. Tomorrow, Greg Grippo, Andrew S. help us break down love on The Bachelor. Taylor Tomlinson is with us on Wednesday. Can't wait to talk with Taylor, do a mediation call with her, talk about life, pop culture, dating. You know, she's hilarious, fun. All of her takes on life are worth you listening to. Let's get to the callers.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Lily, and I am 24.
How can I help, Lily?
I moved to Europe last August just for the year, and I was very single when I left and planned on continuing that. And so I was here. I live in a really small town, so I'm not like
Are you
out
are you calling
mingling
from
at
Europe
bar.
now?
I am, yeah. So it's like 6:30 right now.
Nice. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm coming from the Czech Republic.
Nice. Never been. I heard it's cool. You like it?
It's nice. I do. Yeah, I like it. Prague is great. I wish being in Prague would be awesome, but being in a small town, I'm originally from DC, so it's a nice change.
Okay. Well, all right. So
Yeah.
anyways, you're in Europe.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm here for the year. Was just planning on it being a year of like self-growth, focusing on me. I'd been in a relationship and I'd gotten out of it a few months before coming. And in November, my friends were like, while you're there, you should go on Hinge. Like just see what it's like with why not you're there. So I do that and I end up matching with a guy who is in Germany. And I'm like decently close to the border. And he's an American. So he's there for the military. So we start talking and he seems really cool, like someone that if he was closer, I would like immediately be pretty interested in. But he's about 6 hours from me and I don't have a car. So he suggests we meet in the middle via like public transportation to have breakfast. But I'm like a 6 hour round trip for a Hinge breakfast. Seems like a lot of work. So I'm like, why don't we FaceTime to see what it would even be like? So we FaceTime, goes super well. Again, very excited. We FaceTime a few more times and then it's right around the holidays. So he's going back to America. I'm staying here. So he says, after the holidays, I'd be willing to drive to you to like hang out in person, see how it goes. So the holidays come and go and I test positive for COVID, have to quarantine for 2 weeks. Obviously, he's not going to come see me, which kind of brings me up to now. So I'm out of quarantine and we're still talking and he seems great. But I'm conflicted because I know I'm leaving at the end of June and he's staying for 2 years. And it is a lot of work, but I'm also torn because he seems so great and like someone I would like to see. So I'm just kind of caught in the middle because I'm not usually a very casual dater. So I don't know if I'm setting myself up for disappointment.
Huh. What brought you to Europe? Is it like work or you just like...
Yes.
Okay. So it wasn't like
Yeah,
you were
so I'm working.
escaping or anything.
No,
Okay.
I got the opportunity. I was actually supposed to go in 2020 for work, but COVID postponed it. So here I am now, but I won't stay. Like I definitely want to go back.
Sure. When you say you're not a casual dater, what do you mean by that?
I think just I tend to get attached pretty quickly.
Okay.
So I'm just worried that if we start hanging out and he is as great as he appears to be over FaceTime, I will get really attached. And
What makes him so
I feel like
great?
it's-
Like, what have you learned about him?
yeah, well, he's just very considerate and very different, I think, than other people that I've dated. So we have a lot of common interests. I really like to read. And so anytime I've said I'm reading a book, he will read it so we can discuss it. Which is just like, I think that's pretty sweet.
Super nice.
And he's just very,
It is.
and just very easy to talk to. And like, I will say, I know I'm lonely. Like I live in a small town. So it's nice to have that. So maybe I'm...
Is he lonely, do you
romanticizing.
think? Well, like, what's his situation?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's with the military. So I don't think he's also out and about like mingling. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. And he's very funny.
He may or may
I think we
not
have
be.
good sense
I
of
mean,
humor.
but like, you know, the example you gave, like you like to read,
Mhm.
he's willing to read books, you guys talk about it. Super. It's not, oh, what a nice thing. It sounds so charming. But also could just be a product of like, is nothing better to do, you know? And he's excited about you
That's
or
true.
on some level, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
really tell me who he is. I mean, it gives me a little insight on who he is as a person, but like not a ton, right? He could,
Right.
it could tell me he's super into reading and he's found someone like you who is like discussing books. It could tell me, I mean, shit, he could, I mean, not to scare you, he could be a narcissist. I don't fucking know. He's just like really
Yeah.
dedicated in trying to like, you know, mimic your interests so that you like him. I mean, so,
That's true.
and my only point is don't try to put so much weight on these nice things. Just think of them as what they are. It's a nice thing. It's a nice
Right.
thing. I like. It's neat. And part of the reason why you're interested in and continue to talk to him, right? As far as like you getting attached quickly, I think and that's why I kind of bring that up is that if you're, because like short answer is, of course you should meet up with this guy. That's the short answer. That's my opinion, Like if you stop me in an elevator and be like, Nick, I'd be like, I gotta go, but like totally go see him or let him see you, because like why the fuck not? You know, like why are you planning?
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen with this guy. Probably nothing. He's probably not your guy. It's not why you shouldn't meet him. You're alone in the Czech Republic and you've connected with someone, and it's not that hard. He probably doesn't have much to do, so a 6-hour drive for him is not a big deal. You know,
Right. Okay.
so it's like he's like, of course. What else am I gonna do? And that's fine. You know, you got two lonely, bored people being willing to like do things that like maybe if you were like living in the big city in the States with a bunch of friends and a bunch of options, that would seem more nuts to do. It would, you know, but it's not that nuts. It doesn't seem like it's that nuts for either of you to do, because like life's a little slower for both of you right now.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like getting too attached to people, like that's something you're going to have to work on and that you can control. And it's little stuff like not overweighing his willingness to read a book, you know?
Right.
And I'm not saying, you know, like I wouldn't get, it's a nice thing, but I wouldn't get too ahead of yourself on what that means he is or the potential of him as a romantic partner.
Okay.
You know,
that's fair.
And if you're someone who gets attached easily, my guess is you're someone who will take these little, small, nice things and turn them into greater things. You know, we talk about like non-negotiables and pet peeves, right? And that's more on the bad things. Like a pet peeve is something that annoys you. That doesn't mean they don't have good character. It's just like a bad habit they have that anyone could live with if you love them. And then a non-negotiable would be like, yeah, they're like mean, cruel, or whatever. Or maybe you just like they live in different. You live across the world, or you have different like core beliefs as people, and like maybe you're good people, but like, hey, it's just I have different values, and those are non-negotiables, right? And those are more like on the negative things of things you don't like. But on the flip side, the things you do like, it kind of works the same way. Stop treating things that you like as like these like non-negotiable things that you have to have. You don't need a guy who's willing to read books for you. It's nice, it's cool, but you don't need it.
That's true.
Right? It doesn't mean he's your guy, you know? And like we said, I still don't know if he's a narcissist or just a really considerate guy. He's probably, you know, somewhere in the middle, but we don't know. It's just a nice, neat thing, right? That might change when he's less busy. Or when he's more busy, right? He might be, you know, think of all the things when we start dating someone, you're like, you used to like read books with me and discuss it. He's like, well, now I like, fuck, we got kids and I got a job and we're just trying to like, I don't have the time. Cheesy baked gnocchi.
Yum.
Doesn't that sound delicious? Well, it's because it is. And you can get it with Martha Stewart and Marley Spoon. That's right. That's just one of their many delicious dishes. It's one of the best meal subscription services out there. Whether it's breakfast, dinner, dessert, Martha Stewart and Marley Spoon have combined to make an astonishing, amazing team. If you are someone who's on the go, constantly busy, maybe you don't like cooking, maybe you just don't have the time to cook or grocery shop, Martha Stewart and Marley Spoon are making life easy for you. And if you maybe have used another food subscription service, I'll tell you what, you are missing out. Easy to make, easy to clean up, and it's all made with the freshest ingredients. Martha Stewart and cooking and food. Can't go wrong. If you are tired of grocery shopping and meal planning, sign up today at marleyspoon.com using code VIALL for $120 off your first 5 boxes. Once again, go to marleyspoon.com, promo code VIALL, and get $120 off. And enjoy delicious meals from Martha Stewart every day of the week. Hey, all you entrepreneurs out there who are shipping out of your house or running a small business, if you're not using ShipStation to get your items to your customers, you are making a major mistake. For one, you can get the same shipping prices that Fortune 500 companies are getting. And shipping is going to be one of your biggest costs if you're running any type of e-commerce business. It's what we use for Natural Habits. It's great with customer service. It gets you insight to all your orders and tracking them. So if something happens with your shipment, you can get your customers the information they need right away. So check out ShipStation. There's no reason not to, because you can try it for free for 60 days. Use my offer code VIALL to get a 60-day free trial. That's 2 months free of no hassle, stress-free shipping. Just go to ShipStation.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and type in VIALL, ShipStation. Make ship happen.
He hasn't offered since like mid-December before Christmas to come. So do you think I just like bring it up again?
Oh, he
and
hasn't
say, like, do
offered
you
yet.
want to come?
So it's not.
No.
When was the last
No,
time you
like, we've
spoke with
been
this guy?
We speak a lot. Like I would say he reaches out 70% of the time. And I would say we at least talk like every other day. But that's like messaging, not FaceTiming. So I also am just like,
Have you
does he want
talked
a
about
pen
like
pal?
you talk a lot. What do you guys talk about? Because I would assume at some point, whether you guys talk about you two as like a couple, but like you can still talk about like your ideas of what relationships mean, your past, shit. When you talk about like, I've had those kind of FaceTime relationships that start off and they're kind of
Right.
fun because it really allows you to really talk and get to know someone, and you learn a lot quickly because, well, you're not tempted to hook up because they're not there.
Right. Exactly.
And so it's kind of nice sometimes. So what do you guys talk about?
Yeah. So it's pretty random. Obviously, the books when they come up. And then a lot of times he'll just ask how my day was. We'll talk about work. I got him started playing Wordle. We'll talk about like it's pretty.
I got on the third try today.
I got it on the fourth.
Yeah.
But it's pretty like surface level. Like we have good conversations, but it's not. I've had deeper conversations and we're not like really sharing super intense things. So that's why I just don't know. Like, but why would he keep reaching out if he's not interested?
It's something to do. I mean, you're talking to him because it's something to do. He's talking to you because it's something to do, and that's okay right now. You're not doing anything else. You like were kind of planning on coming here and working and like, I don't know, hibernating. And I applaud your friends for being like, embrace where you are. Like, who knows what life's gonna bring you? You know, like it's kind of silly to go like, I'm gonna go to Czech Republic, and I'm like, listen, if you needed to go to the the Europe and like get some alone time, good for you for like knowing to do that. But like, if you just need to go, like you don't need to like take yourself off the market just because like, well, I don't like, I'm not going to marry someone in the Czech Republic. I mean, yeah, you have some boundaries and you move things extra slow. It's just like, well, because living in the same country is a non-negotiable for you, right? But that doesn't mean, so, well, you should remember that as someone who identifies as falling too fast or getting attached too soon, you should remember that non-negotiable, right? Because that's a big deal. So that doesn't mean you can't meet people and get to know them and make friends and take things slow. Doesn't mean you have to have sex with this guy. I do think that if a guy is willing to drive 6 hours, that you should have a conversation about expectations of what that's like. Hey, I don't mean to put you on the spot, and I'm sure you're a great guy, but like, what are your expectations? Like, I move slowly. Like, I just want to put it out there, and I'm not saying you're going to do it, but I'm not looking to get physical,
Right.
And if it happens, it happens, but I just want to be okay with you coming up knowing that there's a good chance it won't. I think that's an okay conversation to have. And of course you should hang out. And because it hopefully.
So do you think I just invite him? Like message him and say,
sure. I mean, listen, there's
like,
always
the
a
next
risk that he's bored of you or he's met some other girl. I don't know.
Right.
That's possible. And then then you get your answer, you won't have to worry about it. But you say, hey, I'm healthy now. I'm good. Are you still interested in coming this way? Also, like meeting halfway for breakfast, I think is also a great option too. Again, if you have the time, if you're sitting around,
I do.
even one less book to read, I guess, but it's a fun adventure. And that way, that takes away pressures of hooking up or expectations of like, when he comes to your town, then it's a good chance he's going to come up to your apartment. And that's fine too. Like set those boundaries up front. You're both adults. But if that's something you're stressed out about, like our caller, was it last week with Teffy, who was, going out with these guys, and she identified that she was uncomfortable to speak up, and she knew that about herself. So we just recommended, until you do, just make life easier on yourself. Go to these public areas where you don't have to worry about, saying, hey, I don't want to do that. And it's good. You definitely want to be able to speak up. You want to get to that place where you can, but just make life easy on yourself. And I don't think a 3-hour drive is not that big of a deal. In some version of your brain, and I'm teasing you, and tell me if I'm wrong, you're like, well, if a guy's willing to drive 6 hours for me, or if I'm willing to drive 3 hours for him, I'm going to have to marry him.
Oh, totally. Right. I'm like, how romantic
because I
would
wouldn't
that
do
be?
that for someone who you're just driving. Like,
Right.
what else?
I know. I definitely do get caught up in it. And I think that's also what I'm a little worried about. Like, I feel like in my head, I have this great, like, went through a breakup, moved to Europe. I'm going to meet this amazing guy. So I'm just worried that.
So don't.
And then I'll be alone.
You don't romanticize about it. Don't romanticize it.
Right.
I'm going to go meet a guy I've enjoyed talking to. It doesn't matter that I'm where I'm in right now or where he is. Just don't buy into the story. You know, if this ends up being your guy, if you get married, then you guys can go back and tell this very romantic story about how you met. But don't tell the story. Don't make up the story before it happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think a lot
totally.
of people make that mistake of writing their story about this date or this person they're about to go on or the person they're about to meet. No. Live the life, experience the experience, and if it works out, be like, wow, we met in a pretty cool fucking way. Can't wait to go to dinner parties to talk about it, you know?
Okay.
So do that. All you're doing is driving a little longer for breakfast or hanging out with a guy who's coming here, and you're going to set some upfront expectations. You're going to define some expectations with him and some boundaries. And if things go great, you guys can have a conversation and you can live in the moment. You can hook up or whatever. And if you do hook up, still a guy who lives in Germany and you're in the Czech Republic, and like you're gonna have to slow down and you can get excited, but your excitement doesn't all of a sudden mean you know things about him or the relationship or the future. It just means you're excited. You just had a good moment, you know?
So do I wait for him to offer again? Or do I just go for it?
I think it would have a little power of you ask him, hey, you still interested in coming? Or how about, you know, I'd be down. You know, I could also, if you don't want to, I could drive too. See what he says. And then, you know, if he makes up some excuse, well, I'm busy right now, then maybe he's lost some interest, you know.
Okay.
But there's no reason. And especially it sounds like he's reaching out more. Just be like, hey.
Yeah.
Also, like, if I'm him, I don't want to ask twice.
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, if he's willing to reach out so much, like, I don't know why he hasn't again. I don't know.
Sounds like he's pushed it. You've been like reluctant. I don't know. And things
that's true.
Anything's possible. He definitely might have lost interest. He could have met someone else.
Right.
And maybe he just doesn't want to. You'll let him know.
Okay.
Right.
I will. I'm going to do it.
So, yeah. There you go. Let us know how it goes.
Well, I appreciate it. I will say, I'll let you know. I really appreciate your help.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye. How's it going?
It's going all right. It's been a stressful week.
Okay. What's your name?
My name is Sophia. I'm 23. I live in a city on the East Coast. Always like kind of been independent, especially after I went through a lot. When I was younger. I haven't been in a relationship in like 5 years.
Okay.
A serious relationship. And went through a lot in college and really found myself a lot of personal growth. And I'm kind of at that point where I don't really know how I fit a significant other into my life. I've almost like pushed off the fact that maybe it could be beneficial to have somebody, and like maybe even try to avoid any sort of serious relationship because I was afraid that like they wouldn't really fit into my life.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I knew that I liked doing certain things independently and by myself, and I enjoyed my alone time. So if I added this like other person into my life, they kind of, I don't know, maybe I feel like what if they ruined that space for me, or I became too attached to them and I started to. Is there
someone you've met that you're like, it's stressing you out, that like wants to be a bigger part of your life and you're afraid of messing up your current vibe?
Yeah, kind of. And of course, obviously getting hurt, but like, I don't know. I thought that if I was so good at being independent and that I really like truly like obviously like myself, that no matter who came in, it wouldn't matter because I wouldn't need them. I would only want them. But I started going on a couple of dates with this one guy who ended up bringing up all of this, like me questioning all of, well, what do I actually want? Because for the first time, it was mature. He's 27, made it very straightforward. He was like, look, I just want to make sure we're on the same page about things. Like, I'm actively dating to be in a relationship, and I just want to know if like you're on the same page. First date went well. We have a lot in common. We have similar characteristics and like values of life, and we're both like very kind of career driven and again independent. But like I don't know. I think that when he first said that, I was like, oh, I actually don't know. And I started to get freaked out. And a friend of mine actually said to me, they were like, he's not saying like that he like wants to marry you right now. He's just telling you like that he's looking for a relationship. But it started to like freak me out. I was like, oh, he's 27. So that means like he probably wants to have kids by like 30, 31. And, you know, like that means that we're going to get engaged in like 2 years. And I'm only 25. And then I haven't hit these goals of like that I have for my career.
Has he asked you about your goals? Yeah. Like how long?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. And I had this really huge exam for like what I needed to get in the next step in my career. And that was like all the last 2 weeks of studying. And he's in the same industry and like was like offered to help me study. And I was like, thank you. But like, I wanted to like do a lot of it by myself. And I ended up passing a couple of days ago and like congratulated me, whatnot. And he knows like that I'm career driven, and he's identified it and said that that's like, I asked him like what his type was. And when he described his type, it was somebody who is passionate about something and is like very career driven and like growth oriented and focuses on long-term gain for short-term pain. So, and that like, I feel like that fits me, but I think I ended up just screwing everything up because I was focusing on, I don't even know what. I'm not sure how to continue.
All right, I got a couple of things I'll say. Maybe this will help. I think a couple of things, just high level things, right? One, I think it's amazing that you focus on your independent and you have your individual goals as a person. That's awesome. And at 23, that's what you should be doing. And if you're not, that's fine. But I think it's awesome that you are. Being independent is not bulletproof for like getting heartbroken. You know, like just because you're good at being alone and being independent, that is not going to ever prevent you from getting hurt or heartbroken. Right? What it does do, though, the good news is that if you were to date this guy or anyone else and it doesn't work out and you get heartbroken, it is you know you will. It's like everyone's going to get over heartbreak, but you know you already have the training, the skill set to be alone. So many people at your age haven't focused on being an individual alone and focus on that. You know, a lot of people don't. And so they'll find their first love at an early age, 21, 22, 23, be super intense. It doesn't work out. And they'll be 24, 25, 26, and have a legitimate fear of being alone because they haven't really been independent. They've wrapped their identity so much into their partner at such an early age. So you have that, right? And that will help you if you get heartbroken to move on faster. Hairstory.
So here's the thing. My hair routine before I started Hairstory had multiple steps to the point where I would avoid wanting to take a shower after leaving the gym because I just didn't have the energy.
You're like one of those people. It's like
I would rather knit a full scarf than get in the shower at that point. But
so Hairstory is the reason you don't stink in general.
Exactly. Because it's quick and they have this little like head brush thing that really gets in there and it's just one step and I'm done. I don't have to do all these like various products and masks and wait and rinse and I'm in and out.
The oil rocks. It's very lightweight, but it also, I feel like, does a good job of like kind of like sealing in flyaways and making my hair feel very nourished. And I'm picky about hair stuff. And I genuinely like this product a lot.
Well, you heard it from these ladies, and I concur. Check out Hairstory at hairstory.com and use promo code VIALL to get 15% off your first purchase. The code will be applied after customers create an account at checkout. That's HAIRSTORY.com and use my code VIALL to get 15% off. ThredUp. Hey, we all love a thrift store.
We do.
We do. ThredUp is taking all the pain out of shopping at a thrift store with all the benefits that you come to have enjoyed while doing so. It's an online thrift store. What if there was a place you could thrift your favorite brands from Gap to Gucci up to 90% off estimated retail value? Well, at ThredUp.com, you can. Get the big names in your closet without the big name prices. Upgrading your wardrobe shouldn't be break the bank. And at ThredUp, one of the largest online consignment and thrift stores, get one-of-a-kind finds from brands like Zara, J. Crew, and more, up to 90% off estimated retail. I mean, it's amazing. Banana Republic, Madewell, Nike. I mean, the list goes on of some of the great brands and some absolute gems that you will find. ThredUp is offering a deal just for new customers. So right now, head to thredup.com and get up to additional 50% off plus free shipping on your first orders. That's up to an extra 50% off and plus free shipping on your first order just by heading to thredup.com. That is ThredUp.com for up to 50% off and free shipping on your first order. The pain that you feel from heartbreak, it will be there. It'll consume you for a period of time, but in the back of your mind, you will know, I know how to be alone. I know how to be independent. I might be heartbroken over this situation or this person, but I know I can be alone, and that will help you. So that's a good thing. So you can have that confidence that whatever you decide, you've developed the skill set, but it is not something that's like bulletproof. It doesn't prevent you. So like, don't get in your head and be like, well, I've been independent, so like, why am I getting rattled because I like this guy? Well, you're getting rattled because you like him, and you can still get hurt.
Yeah.
There's no version of love or excitement in a relationship that doesn't come with the risk of heartbreak or pain. That's what makes it exciting. If you knew
I
you
think
couldn't
that's
get
part
hurt,
of my-
you wouldn't get excited. It's, it's
Yeah.
fucked up, but I don't get why sugar makes us sick when it tastes so good. I don't understand God or science, it just is what it is. Another thing too is your independence has the toxic side of your independence is your need to constantly feel in control constantly. And when you feel slightly out of control, you act like you have no control at all, and you kind of unravel, it sounds like to me.
Yeah. That's
And
pretty
you panic and you act like the slightest amount of lack of control is a monster thing. And that's something it sounds like you might want to work on.
Okay.
I don't know how you do that. Therapy might be a great way to do that.
Yeah. And we talk about that a lot, actually.
And again, like talk to your therapist about how to do that. But like anything, just practice self-recognition. A lot of time, like a lot of our bad habits mentally, for me, like I have a habit of ruminating and going down rabbit holes. And one thing I've worked on with my therapist is like every once in a while, there's things that bug me, with the things that come with what I do for work or how people react or insecurities I have. They just exist. I can't do anything about it. Just I am who I am. What I've gotten better at is recognizing that I'm doing the thing that I have a habit of doing, ruminating, going down a rabbit hole, making things worse. And so I've developed the skills to say, I'm doing it. I'm doing it again. And instead of doing it for an entire day, I might do it for 30 minutes because I recognize it and either like I've already talked myself out of it before, or I have the person, maybe it's my therapist, maybe it's Natalie, people I can go to and say, I'm feeling this feeling again. And they can talk with me and say, okay, fine, let's talk it through. We already know X, Y, and Z. This doesn't matter. Nothing you can do about that. You're obsessing over the negative rather than focusing on the positive. Those are benefits of having friends and a partner who could help you with that. So again, talk to a therapist but that's something I've, your control problem is no different than and like my rumination problem or someone else's other problem. We have these things probably stem from our childhood or whatever, attachment style or whatever the fuck, I don't know. And it's just something we have to work on as adults.
So I agree with that. And I think that we definitely got like pretty kind of not serious, but like deep quickly, like after the second date. And to note, like, I'm not saying that I'm not at fault, but it just, everything got so much so quickly. And we live in the same neighborhood. He lives like 2 blocks away from me. So I run into him. After the second date, stayed over next morning, walked me home, got me coffee. We ended up seeing each other 3 consecutive days after that. And like, he was like, oh, you want to come over, hang out and study? Like, no, like, I won't bother you. Like, I'll read my book, whatever. Like,
he asked that?
Yeah.
He's like, I want to hang out with you. I know you have to study, but I just want to be in like
he initiated everything. And I even said to him, I said, look, I'm kind of questioning if I should, like, I don't really want to, I also wanted to make sure that he wasn't like under the impression that like it would be something as like friends. I was like, I like you, like you're great, but like, I don't want to be your friend. Like I said that to him. So, and he was like, no, like I wouldn't invite a friend over to just come hang out and like study. I'm not going to bother you. I swear. Like it's totally up to you. Like you just wanted to come hang out and study. If you want to ask me questions, like you can, because again, he passed the exam that I had passed. He was like offering to help me. Not that I needed it, but I was like, okay, sure. In the past, I probably would have said no and been like, no, you don't need that. And I was like, I actually enjoy his company. I might have like, it might be
when you
less
say
stressful.
You don't need that, you saying that to yourself?
Yeah. And then I convinced myself that I don't need anything like other than myself. And then I ended up like enjoying his company all the time. I'm like, well, I don't need him, but I do want him. And I'm very picky. And he like ticks a lot of the boxes that I'm looking for. So what happens if I never actually like find somebody like him that like doesn't bother me and like we're both.
When you say what if I never find someone like him? What are these qualities
like
they have that can't be found with anyone else?
We agree that we each want our own like independent life and like we can like spend like make time for each other, but his friends are his friends, my friends are my friends, like separate lives. Like we don't need to talk like every 5 seconds. But we enjoy the time that we have together. Like he's very into like self-growth. I can tell by like certain books that he has out, and like he has like little stickies like in the mirror of like are you present? Like things like that. Like I don't know what exactly, we didn't get to that point yet, but I know that he's gone through something and that he does like get panic attacks and things like that. So one of the things that he always kind of compliments me on when he told me how he was describing me to his friends was he was so surprised and like excited about the fact that he met somebody who was so mature, especially at my age, and was career driven and like XYZ, all these other characteristics. He's not my typical type, which threw me off. Like I went into this not even really liking him. And now I feel like I can't stop thinking about the guy and I don't even know where we are right now. So
where are you right now? I mean, physically, but like.
Yeah. The day before my exam, I called him because I don't know why. I just like was overthinking things and trying to control it, trying to confirm that everything was fine, even though I've never once questioned if he liked me. He made it very obvious. And he ended up texting me like while I was sleeping, hey, I think that it might be best if we start talking to other people. And then I was like, what the heck? I was like, did I just like screw all this up by overthinking? And I ended up responding to him something like, look, like, I know like it's been a lot. And I definitely agree like that we've been moving too fast, but I do like you. And I just feel like we didn't get a chance to like get to know each other fully. Ended up running into him outside, like walking around in the same neighborhood when he was walking his dog. And he was like, oh, it was like, it's good seeing you. Like, I hope like the studying is going well. I'll call you once I get home. I'm like, okay. Like he continues to always say he's going to call me and then like doesn't actually call me, but like he'll text me, hey, I'm really busy with work. I'll call you later. And then like doesn't call me later. And he's like, I just don't understand. There's like 2 different sides to him, I feel like. And then at the same time, He texts me, oh, like, I hope the studying's going well. Again, 2 days ago, congratulates me on my exam, tells me that like he would like to celebrate, but he can't because he's going to this event this weekend. He can't be exposed to anybody. So like, I understand that, but like him saying otherwise I would makes me think, oh, okay, so things are normal. But then we had like this conversation about that he thinks I'm great and I'm awesome, but like it's just a lot for him right now. It's like, what does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah, a couple things. I don't think he's your guy.
You don't think what?
I don't think he's your guy. I mean, I say that about everyone, right? Because we're only looking for one, right? You know, this is maybe a nice guy, nice moments, had some good dates, had a lot of potential. These are all great things. There's a lot of people like him, good and bad. The good parts you liked about him and the bad. In the future, when you meet a guy who says right off the bat, I'm only looking to date seriously or whatever the fuck he said. That's a good thing. But like our last caller, like that's people tend to make that, oh my God, like really? You're only dating to like seriously date? Oh my God. You're special. Who is this unicorn before me? It's just a fucking guy who, like, I don't know, maybe was a fuckboy for a while. I don't fucking know. Maybe, and he has the best intentions. And what does that even mean? I want to date to, date exclusively. What does that mean? And when you really break it down, what does it mean? Does that mean I don't even know what that means. You know what I'm saying?
He just doesn't want to see anybody else. Like, but then,
well, he said that right off the bat it sounds like he said that pretty early on.
Yeah. Oh, this was
right?
this was after the first date, like maybe 2 days after the first date.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
it's this incredibly generic thing that people say, plenty of men, that sounds really good and nice, and it sounds like it's full of intention, and sounds like, but it doesn't say anything. Of course, right? The alternative to that statement is, I just want to fuck. And that's also fine too. And there are people out there, but just because someone's looking to date with like intention, it doesn't mean they can't get excited and they can't have their mind changed as they get to know someone. It doesn't mean they can't get worked up only to like come back down from their high and be like, I don't know. It doesn't mean they can't meet someone like you who by your own admission has identified like things you're working on, and his post-it notes or whatever in his books, that's great. He's working on himself. But like you and like me and like him, we're all works in progress, right? So it's nice that he's on this journey, but he might not be complete yet, or even or to the point where he's even capable of like being the type of partner or person that he certainly wants to be, intends to be, is working on to be, and maybe you're not either, right? Maybe you're on this journey, right? You're still young, still working a thing. You met a guy who got, for me, this is all perspective, right? So to me, from my point of view, your only issue is how you choose to see this situation. Because right now it feels to me like you choosing to see it as I was on my path of independence and studying and working out and being this boss. And then this guy came along who I got excited about and worked up, and I took down my guard, and then I liked him only for him to be like every fucking guy who's just like, nope, I think you should say other people. And now here I am with these feelings and emotions about someone. And certainly that would be fair to look at it that way. Another version of that story is, I'm still young. I'm still have all these goals I want to do. I'm not ready to have kids at 25 or 26. If it happens, fine, but that's not part of my plan or whatever. Things are going great. I just passed my test. I'm crushing life. And you know what? I met a version of a guy that I really liked. And that just shows me that there are some people out there that I can get excited about. And it's nice to get excited about someone once in a while, right? But don't fall victim to making the mistake that many of us do, is put more weight and excitement on this guy just because he rejected you before you rejected him. You weren't sold on him. You liked him. There were things you liked. Yes, it was nice that he's reading books and working on himself, and that gave you comfort. It's nice that he handled things maturely. It's nice that he said he's like dating with intention. But that doesn't mean he's going to get it all right, and doesn't mean he knows everything about you and was going to love everything about you. And certainly you don't know that about him, right? So you could look at this as a nice little like reminder that someday you do want to find love. And when you are looking for that love, there are things about him that you like that you hope to find in someone else. And maybe
So
that
does that
person will
mean
be more
I'm like not
What?
ready right now? Does that mean I'm not ready right now?
I think you need, I think that's that control part you need to work on. You need to chill out. That's the easiest way to saying it. I mean, I think, and listen, I say that, and I hope I don't, this is not coming from like some condescend and I'm older and you're younger. I know as someone who likes control and likes planning, and then you combine the fact that with you're 23, you're younger, I think you should try to work on just as a lot of us do, and I know I have to, just enjoying stuff. Just enjoy some shit. Enjoy the moment. Celebrate you passing this test.
I know.
Enjoy this guy. It's all going to work out. I'm confident. I don't know anything about you, but you seem to like be committed to making good decisions for yourself and investing in yourself. And that alone, the fact that you are a priority of yours is to invest in yourself, will get you far in life. I'm confident. Some shit's going to happen along the way. You're going to have your ups and downs. I don't know what it's going to be, but it will happen. But enjoy those ups.
Yeah.
And when the downs happen, just know that they are almost always temporary, unless you die, and then it's permanent.
That's true.
So, yeah, listen, who the fuck's ready? I don't know. What does ready mean? None of us, we're all works in progress.
Yeah.
The important thing is
agree with
don't
that,
take it slow. Just because some guy's excited about you. So back to like, if I'm nitpicking, when he's like, oh, I can just sit here and read, and in the future, stop projecting and saying out loud, either to yourself or to these men, like, I don't know, like this like lack of trust in either yourself or them. Because it would have been totally appropriate for to say, hey, listen, I am excited to see you. I do love spending time with you, but I really need to get this done. So I'm going to do this, and then let's do something together. You set those boundaries and embrace the fact that you actually had to say no to him, and that was fun. Right?
Yeah.
Also, that gives you an opportunity to see how they respond to something like that. How do they respond to that boundary? Do they like complain and weirdly like push and push and push and push and push? Or do they go, sounds good. Let me know when you're done studying.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
I think it would have been the latter, but I don't know.
But you know what I'm saying? You're like always worried about, what does this mean if I have him over? What fuck? I don't just, yeah.
Yeah, that's very spot on. He caught on early that I analyze sometimes.
And quite frankly, like, are you ready to date? Of course you're ready to date. Does that mean you don't have things to work on yourself? Yes, that might complicate some healthy dating. You have some, neuroses, some neurotic habits. No judgment on this side of the aisle. I have them too, but that's shit you too want to work on. You just need to work on balance in your life. Sounds like to me. But I'm not a therapist, so.
No, that's very accurate.
I wouldn't stress out. I know it's easier to say, but like whatever happens, you're gonna be fine. I know that much.
I appreciate that.
All right.
Yeah, that helps a lot. Yeah, thank you so much.
All
I
right.
really appreciate
Best of luck.
it. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. How's it going?
Going good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name's Danielle.
How old are you, Danielle?
I am 37.
How can I help?
Overall, I'm 37. I've been single for several years. I'm a business professional, so travel a lot for work, which does sometimes hamper my ability to meet people. Met this guy on Bumble little over 3 years ago, and we went out on our first date and really hit it off. We had one of those like 8-hour first dates before we slept together that night. And we really had great chemistry, both the conversation. We were like that couple at the end of the night was kind of like making out on the dance floor type of thing. So he told me that night that he had just gotten out of a marriage where his wife had cheated on him. And he basically caught them together. And so it was obviously like horrible for him. He also has 2 children with her who were at the time 3 and 4. So, you know, he tried to stick it out, but he couldn't. So he left her. And I wasn't his first date, because I've confirmed that since then after listening to a couple of your podcasts about not being the first one right after. So I was not. And I was actually very honest and open. Like, I'm 34 years old at the time. Like, I was looking for something serious. So I never lied about that. I was very upfront, and I told him, you know, I'm looking for something serious. I'm not looking to get married tomorrow, but I would like this to go somewhere. So that was the first night. I really, honestly, after we slept together, did not think I was going to hear from him again. Like, it was clearly went too far, but
I honestly,
whatever.
for the way this story is going, I wish you didn't. But go ahead.
I know. I wish I hadn't also.
I feel like I know where this is all going, but please.
The next day, I actually did hear from him, like several hours later after I left his house. And then, you know, he seemed really into me. We went out again a couple nights later, went out and then slept together again. And then I went on a business trip for 2 full weeks to Australia. So again, felt like it was going to fall off, but it didn't. He started texting me every day, wanting to know, like, what was I doing? How was my trip? What were my, like, goings-ons?
Sure.
So come back from the trip. He came over that night to see me.
How old's he?
And then he's my age.
Okay.
He's, like a little bit younger, but my age.
So he was like 33 when you met?
Mm-hmm.
I guess so. Fast forward. I'm assuming over the next 3 years, there was a lot of that. A lot of him referencing his divorce as the reasons why he couldn't commit, but you constantly had this state of I'm not going to hear from him, and he always did, but he never would commit.
Yes, but also we had a really good connection. Like, so
I don't doubt that.
When we were together, we didn't have those conversations, actually. Like, we were just very, like, let's have fun. You know, I've talked to my brother about this.
What are those conversations you didn't have? What do you mean?
We would talk about life. I mean, if long periods had gone on, he would tell me about other girls he had seen, you know, in that span of time. We would talk about his kids. We would talk about my job, his job.
Did you ever try to, did you ever want to date this guy? Like, commit?
Yeah.
You did?
So I thought after Australia, we were going to commit because it felt like it was going that way.
What happened?
And then he got into a fight with his ex-wife's family at Thanksgiving because they tried to do it together. Why, I don't know. And he came back from that and was like, I can't give you what you're looking for. So that's been his stance this whole time, is I can't give you what you're looking for.
So what did you do with that information?
I said, fine. Like, that's fine. So he left.
How long ago was that? 2 years ago? 2.5 years?
Over 3.5.
Okay, yeah. So what do you mean you were fine with that?
Every couple months.
Have you been dating anyone else?
I was fine with not I've tried, but not significantly.
And when you look back over the past 3 years and you say you've tried, how much energy have you put into this guy that has stopped you from really? Because my guess is when you say you've tried, you haven't really tried. Not as if you didn't have this guy and you were like, you felt totally single. Would that be fair or unfair to say?
Well, I guess mostly fair, but we do go through phases where we don't talk for months at a time, and I put myself on the apps.
Sure. Sure, and Prince Charming, yeah, but it's not reasonable to I'm going to go on the apps for like a month or two, and you have 3 average dates. That's not a reason to that doesn't make the other guy better.
No,
But
and
it's
I
not, you know what I'm
always have
saying?
this
Like
feeling.
yeah. It's
I always have this feeling that like once he is ready, I've romanticized this enough to tell you that like I always fantasize that when he is ready, it's going to be me. And so that's kind of my question for you is when he is in fact ready to date, is it ever going to be me or have we had so much?
my guess is probably not, because at some
Yeah.
point,
I mean,
it's most likely from what I find in these situations, it's not that he's not ready. He just hasn't found someone enough to make him ready.
we have had
You
the conversation that's to say I'm the right person, but it was the wrong time.
Yeah, that's
But
that's
what
all
does that
bullshit.
even mean?
It's bullshit.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree. I hear you.
what do you think I'm going to say? It sounds like you listen to my podcast. Sounds like you watch my questions
Okay,
with Nick.
so
You know?
yep.
Well, what do you think I'm going to say?
I think you're going to tell me to stop talking to him and move on.
Sure. Well, that's the short version of it. But why? You're obviously an intelligent
Because
person.
he's never gonna want you. I mean, and if he did, he would have by now.
Sure, but also you've made it. I'm reluctant to say this to you because you're going to find a way to think of it as hope. You've gone about it the wrong way. You've never given him a reason to see you that way. You have essentially told him, I'm your backup plan. That's what you've told him with your actions.
You're not wrong. I just keep thinking that the feeling that we have, or not the feeling, the chemistry, the sex, the like have fun, blah, 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 will outweigh that. And you're right.
Why
like,
should it? Why should
it?
Well, and you know, you're talking about a guy who got married, probably thought, let's say he's like a decent guy, right? An imperfect, decent guy, like, you know, we all are. And so at some point, it sounds like he got married young and got his heart broken, was cheated on, fucked him up, his ego. This guy's 33 when he gets divorced. He probably didn't have a lot of sex in his 20s. I bet he started to make up for it in his 30s. He's got a little bit more money now, a little more freedom. He was just like, whoa, dating's way easier with more money and a little bit more knowledge in my 30s than it ever was in my 20s. You know, a 33, 34-year-old guy is dating, you know, women his age like you. He's dating women in, you know, their mid to early, late, you know, all, you know, in their 20s, right? He's got some baggage to work through, and you have this great chemistry, and you haven't given him a reason to say, well, listen, we have great chemistry, and I empathize with what you've gone through, or what you've been through, or what you need to, but like, I have my priorities, and I have my self-worth, and I have like the things that like I'm looking for, and I'm looking for chemistry. Great, but it's more than just chemistry. If you're looking for a life partner, you need a lot more than just chemistry. You need to count on them. You need to know that they can work through adversity, that they're willing to choose you, that, you know, they don't have all this shit to work through. And you were just always available, always. Every time he showed up on your door, not only were you like, I'll hang out with you, you were excited. And I get why you're excited, but at no point were you like, nah, I don't know. I don't feel like. You took yourself off the market. You played house when you were hanging out with them. I mean, it's literally everything I tell people not to do.
I mean, all of those things are basically spot on. So, you know, there has been like one or two times when I've been like, no, I'm not doing this. But overall, you're right.
Not to be so hard on you, is that for a period of time, no one was going to be that person for him, right? So sure, there's that timing element of like you met him at the wrong time. Most likely, he wasn't in a position to really be emotionally available for anyone, right? But it's been 3.5 years. You know what I'm saying? And if you were ever that person for him, you turned yourself into an option for him. And you played as much of a role in that as him, especially if he was really, truly emotionally kind of fucked up from being cheated on and walking on his wife and working through that shit. and you're just early on, you met him early on, had this amazing night, and you were just super chill and super understanding, but you never reminded him of like your value that you're looking for and your expectations and then your non-negotiables and things that you're not going to put up with, et cetera, et cetera. And you just, like I said, you just kind of said, I'll be your backup plan. You know, sometimes like people who've hooked up or friends or whatever, they do that like, well, if you're not married when we're 41, we'll get married or something. And they literally kind of jokingly will call each other the backup plan. It's essentially what you've done without doing that. So how do you fix that? Well, one, I think you just need to let him go and move on. If he pops back in your life, it's worth having the conversation and saying, hey, listen, I've had a lot of fun with you, and we have some great times and a great chemistry, but I've invested 3 years of my life in you, and it's not all your fault. I played a role in this too, but you know, I've moved on. I wouldn't even if you're not moved on, I would lie. I wouldn't say I need to move on. I would say I moved on. Because
what do you think about sending like the like farewell text?
No.
Or is that
No. There's nothing for farewell. What? I'm no longer
like
your backup
I've
plan.
given you enough.
No.
Yeah.
You need to move on. And you need to work on getting to the place that you're going to tell him you're already at. And that is you've moved on. And that you no longer see him as an option. And if he wants to panic and fight for the relationship with you, then fine, you can give him a shot to fight. But make sure he fights. Don't just fucking and doubt him, because most likely, even if he does react, you need to make sure he's not just reacting.
Yeah. So what do you think about like Instagram? Should I remove him? I mean, because you know he looks at all my stories and comments on all my.
Listen,
posts,
if you don't think you can
etc.
move out, well, you don't want to sound like as you're being reactive. You want to be as chill as far as he's concerned. You want to be as chill as fuck. So mute him. You can have someone not view your stories, and he won't know that. He'll figure it out eventually when he never sees you post a story. But you can mute him so you don't see any of his stuff. And if you need to unfollow him because it's helping you, then fine. But like, not for a reaction from him. And when he reaches out to you, and you can say like, listen, I really liked you, and I really like you, and there was a time. Talking past tense. And honestly, you need to practice this in the mirror on your own, because you're going to have to put on a bit of a performance, because like your heart's still going to want him, you know, and you're going to have to talk in past tense. Like I really, and I accept that like I needed to put myself out there a little bit more, and I just got tired of waiting around. So I just decided to move on, and I want someone who chooses me. I want someone who wants to be with me. And I started dating again. Let him out. And if he asks like, who, if you're dating anyone else, it's not, you don't need to just be like, hey, listen, I don't want to just be really cryptic and vague, you know, like, listen, I don't want to get into it. Like I'm happy where I'm at. And, I invested a lot in us and you, and I know you didn't even ask me to, and it's not your fault because a lot of it was my fault. But I've been treading water with you, and I don't want to see you as an option or a backup plan. Turn the script on him. And if he's asking like, who or what are you doing? That's good. I mean, I don't know. It certainly shows he has an interest. I don't know if it's good, but you don't give him answers he's not entitled to.
To your point, make sure that he knows or thinks that I'm over it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've moved on.
That's the hardest part.
Because the only way this guy is gonna be ready, he's fucking ready. It's been 3 years. You know, he is ready to be in a relationship. If he's, you know what I'm saying, like. And I say that like I don't know what work he's done, if not, and maybe he never, you know what I mean? If he's not ready now, then fuck, who knows when he's gonna be ready? You know what I'm saying? If he's legitimately like needs work to do, then that means he hasn't done the work.
Well, he was in therapy let's just say a year ago, and we got into a fight because I asked him if she knew about me, and he said no. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I've been in your life for like this long, and you're not being honest with her. And I guess it could be that I wasn't significant enough to talk about it, but
there you go.
Whatever.
Exactly. Well, that's more the truth. He didn't need to bring her up to you because you were just. Why would he tell his ex-wife about an option that he wasn't?
No, not his ex-wife. His therapist.
Oh, his therapist. Oh, well,
yeah,
that's even worse.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why we got into it, because it's like, if you're not telling your therapist about me, then you're just not being honest with yourself.
No, you're not being honest with yourself, because him not telling his therapist about you means that you are not remotely close onto things that matter to him. We talk to our therapist about.
He said it was because
he
said it was because it was the things that he was working on. I hear you. I hear you.
And again, there might have been a time, but you've been the cool chick for too long. You've been super chill and super accommodating and so empathetic. And like, listen, men and women get divorced and shit happens. And yes, they have to work on themselves. But like, I don't know, we need to stop. Like, I'm not saying don't be empathetic. I'm not saying, but like, their problem, don't make their problem yours, right? If you want to start hooking up with and dating someone who just got out of divorce, that's fine. But you need to be, that is not like a license for them to waste your time for 3 fucking years. And you decided that it was. So if you meet someone next time who just got a divorce, then you have to have an upfront conversation about like, where are they at right now? It's like, oh yeah, I just got out. I'm not ready. Great. I had a good time with you. I don't want to talk to you until that changes. No, but you sat around and be like, oh, I don't think he's going to call. Oh, he called. Oh. And then you didn't ask any questions and you decided just to be happy that he called, but nothing changed. He was still fucked up. You're just apparently great in bed. And he really enjoyed hanging out with you, and you didn't ask any questions, and you had sex with him. And what 34-year-old guy who just got a divorce wouldn't want great sex and someone who doesn't like ask them questions and doesn't pry and doesn't like, and lets them like do whatever the fuck they want and sleep whoever else they want? Like, of course he's going to keep hanging out with you. You just were way too accommodating.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is that I've waited way too long. And if he was going to come around, he would have.
Yeah. That's the hardest thing to face, but it's the best way, especially like you've wasted enough of your time. And I'm willing to bet this guy, his wife, was very different than you and less chill and less accommodating.
I don't know her personality, but we do look very similar,
well,
which is
I bet
eerie.
Your personalities are different. But that's neither here nor there. If you ever give him another chance, I really hope you make sure he really fights for you. But again, he's either not ready, and if he's not, has so much more work to do, or he's been ready and he just hasn't found the person he wants to be ready with.
Right, which means it's not me.
Correct.
Yeah. I hear you. I kind of knew you were going to say all of this, but I wanted to just at least give you the full scoop before you were like, no.
Yeah.
Leave him alone.
Leave him alone. And if he wants to fight for you, fine. But more importantly, get back out there. You're going to get on the apps, and you're going to have, it's going to take time. That's why you need to stop wasting time with him, because finding connections takes time. And not a month, not 2 months, you just keep going. You have a lot to offer.
Thank you.
And to stay away from like the, mid-30 fuckboy divorcee.
I just heard a new term that he might fall into the soft boy category. Have you heard that?
It doesn't matter. Term, like all these, whatever. I think
it's slightly different than a fuckboy because he plays his emotions against him.
Yeah, I actually saw something on TikTok, like people weaponize emotions all the time, men and women. Feelings are a very powerful thing, and we weaponize our feelings all the time against people, because how can people question our feelings?
Totally.
And women and men
Right.
do that to
I
each
mean,
other. Yeah. So he's an
yes, I
enlightened
cannot
fuck
tell you how
boy.
many
He's just a
times.
fuck. He's just a fuck boy. That's it. We don't need
Yeah.
we don't need a new name.
Enlightened.
We don't need a new name for whatever. What he is a waste of your time. That's it. So stop wasting your time.
I hear you.
All these new names,
Okay.
all they are just ways to make ourselves feel better for the choices we've made. So that way you can think to yourself, well, he tricked me. No, come on. You played a big role in this. And that role is you never told yourself and him what you want, and you never set those boundaries, and you never enforced any of those expectations. And you just were happy when he made himself available to you. And at the risk of telling him and showing him what you wanted, you just decided to be the cool chick because you have good chemistry with him.
All of those things.
Stop finding excuses on TikTok.
It's all these love podcasts. I need to stop listening.
Well, you keep listening to mine. All right. I'm sorry you're going through this, but there's definitely an out for you. You have a lot to offer, and stop wasting your time on him.
I will, as hard as it is.
Okay. Take care. Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for Greg and Andrew S. and Taylor Tomlinson on Wednesdays. Send those questions at asknick@castme.com, cast with a K. And all those people who are in relationships who want to do a fun mediation, we have helped couples across this great land, and you can be the next relationship we save. Just convince your boyfriend or husband to do it.
Just like truly anything. Like it can be like the tiniest little thing.
I would love to hear friends, even more so than romantic relationships.
We just take one. I mean, we've gotten more friend submissions with Ask Nicks with our friend submissions, and people seem to like my friend advice. And the next thing you know, everyone's writing it about their friends they can't stand it anymore. We got you covered either way. We'll
come on down.
We'll give you our unprofessional opinion.
Who wouldn't want that?
Until next time. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos like our Tuesday Bachelor recaps and Wednesday celebrity and expert interviews. See you next time.